Hello, I am Isabella Wenger, and I made a playlist for kind of the storyline of my life, like the key points that changed me and made me who I am today. So, so the first song I chose was "Brutal" by Olivia Rodrigo. I love her songs; they're always so packed with meaningful lyrics, and this song personally really resonated with me because I started getting bullied around elementary school, early middle school, and it really took a toll on me. It felt like everyone was against me, and this song really shows how your social life and how people can make you feel, which definitely did happen to me. People's comments and people making fun of me and people just putting all this pressure on me, it made me feel like I was about to collapse. The next song I chose was "Dying on the Inside" by Nessa Barrett. This song is probably one of the most meaningful songs I've ever listened to, and definitely, if I could describe an event in my life and put a song to it, it would be "Dying on the Inside," because whenever I was 11, I started developing an eating disorder because of people's comments and perceptions about my body and just about myself in general. So it really took a toll on me to the point where I just stopped eating. I isolated myself in my room for most of the time whenever I got home from school, and I didn't talk to people anymore. I was a very talkative person, but I kind of became an introvert at that time and carry on now because I am still an introvert. But it really made me feel like I was losing myself because I was trying to change myself to make other people like me. And people did. In the lyrics of the song, it said, she sings what people were making comments whenever she did lose weight. They were like, "Oh my God, you should keep it up." I definitely got those comments, and it fed up here, and it made me go to the point where I ended up being hospitalized, and I was in a severe state of anxiety and depression. Which leads me to my next song, which is "Tear Myself Apart" by Tate McRae. This song is very emotional, and I really enjoy all of her songs, and this song definitely describes my experiences at hospitals. It felt so I had very big hospital rooms, because most hospital rooms are pretty big, but it felt like I was being suffocated, and it felt like I was just I couldn't go to sleep at night because I would cry myself to sleep every night. And part of this song, I know it's meant to resonate a lover, she's talking about a lover, but it reminded me of whenever I was in the hospital and my mom left me there, and I felt like I was being completely abandoned. I know she was just trying to help me, but at that time it felt like I was being abandoned. And in the song, she also says that I have enough time to tear me apart. And since I spent 6 months in a hospital, hours on end, just laying in a bed watching TV, I felt like I was going to lose myself and tear myself apart and die. Now the next song, a little bit more of a lighthearted one, is "Girls" by Girl in Red. Girl in Red is probably my favorite lesbian songwriter, and because you don't get many gay songwriters that make actual good songs, and Girl in Red definitely does that. I listen to her songs on repeat all the time, and this song definitely describes my experiences as coming out as a lesbian girl. I figured out I was a lesbian a little bit of time after. Well, it was right after I got out of the hospital. I figured I was a lesbian because I talked to my therapist, and she was like, "I think you're a lesbian." So I thought about it for a while. I'm like, "Yeah, I definitely am," because I was only ever attracted to girls. I had never liked guys, but I didn't really think much of it. But this song definitely wraps up the confusion and the struggles as someone who's just discovering themselves and figuring out their sexuality, and also the feeling of whenever you actually start developing crushes on people, and so in my case girls, in this song, in this case girls, and it's like, oh my God, what is this feeling, what is going on? So I think this song really represents that very well, not just for me but for tons of other lesbian, bisexual, pansexual girls in the world. And back to the sad songs, because the next part of my life was very very upsetting, and it definitely took a toll on my emotional and physical state, which is Trainwreck by James Arthur. This song definitely wraps up my feelings and emotions when it came to the situation I was in. My best friend had left me, and I was completely abandoned. I didn't have any other friends at the time, and I just felt so alone, and I fell into this huge hole where it was just like, because I was doing well in my eating disorder recovery, but it got a lot worse after this, because I didn't feel like doing anything at all. I felt worthless, and I didn't want to eat, so I didn't. And it was really hard because it increased my anxiety and my depression, and I didn't want to talk to anyone, and I went back to that isolating state, and it took a huge toll on me. It took me a long time to get out of it. So this song really represents the pain of someone going through that kind of situation. And probably one of the saddest moments in my life was whenever my grandfather passed away, which is why I chose the song 4th of July by Suzanne Stevens. And this song makes me cry every time because I feel it whenever I listen to it, because my grandfather was the most important person in my life, and I know he wouldn't have wanted me to be sad with him passing, but obviously, as anyone would guess, of course I was sad, everyone was, but this song definitely captures the sadness of losing somebody, because that's what the song's all about. It's about losing a loved one and how hard it is to let go. And the song gives me a vibe of like the person dying talking to the person who like is being hurt by the death. And I definitely, whenever I think about it, I think of like my grandfather talking to me and my mom, and he's like telling us we shouldn't be sad and telling us that it'll be okay. So I really enjoy this song, and it makes me really emotional whenever I listen to it because it reminds me of them. And the last song, my personal favorite out of the whole list, is You'll Be Alright Kid by Alex Warren. And this song is definitely the most meaningful to me because things are getting better at the moment, and I hope it stays that way. But at the moment, things are going a lot better than they were 4 years ago. And this song is reflecting on your past self. And whenever I think of this song, I always think of that because like I want to go back in time and tell my younger self that I was beautiful and I was perfect just the way I was, and that everything would be okay. And it also brings up a lot of the situations I have brought up in this podcast, like losing a loved one, losing a friend, and the emotional impact it can put on someone, but also that it gets better over time and that things will be okay, and in the end it will result in something better. So I definitely like to think, like, listening to that song makes me so happy because I like to think like that. It's hard to think like that all the time, but I love thinking like that, and this song definitely whenever I'm sad, when I listen to it, it makes me feel a lot better because it reminds me that things will get better. Thank you for listening to my podcast. You can listen to my playlist on iTunes. Bye.